our resident World Poetry Official Reclamador, Tony Antonios, and he has a surprise, and because I fussed at him, he cut his reading down a bit. So thank you for that, Tony. It's really nice of you to do that. This is from Yoshifuma Sakura, our World Poetry music music composer, and I think I'll remove it. It keeps wandering around. So please give a big hand to Tony.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Most people from world poetry know that my very favorite poet is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who wrote the great American classic, The Song of Hiawatha. When it was first published in November of 1855, Longfellow had achieved a long-cherished ambition to create an Indian epic based on the most authentic and complete research available at that time. This evening, I'd like to read a portion from book number 9 of this masterpiece, titled Hiawatha and the Pearl Feather. It's filled with colorful language and events that truly can excite the imagination. In the scene that I'm going to read, old Nokomis, who nursed the little Hiawatha, now a skilled young warrior, draws his attention to the great pearl feather, Megisogwon, the magician who sends disease and death among the people. She tells him, "He it was who slew my father," and wishes him to slay this merciless magician and avenge my father's murder. So, westward fares Hiawatha toward the realm of Megisogwon, toward the land of the pearl feather. When he reached the location, straight he took his bow of ash tree, on the sand one end up rested, with his knee he pressed the middle, stretched the faithful bowstring tighter, took an arrow jasper-headed, shot it at the shining wigwam, sent it singing as a herald, as a bearer of his message, of his challenge, loud and lofty. "Come forth from your lodge, pearl feather, Hiawatha waits your coming." Straightway from the shining wigwam came the mighty Megisogwon, tall of stature, broad of shoulder, dark and terrible in aspect, clad from head to foot in wampum, armed with all the warlike weapons, painted like the sky of morning, streaked with crimson, blue, and yellow, crested with great eagle feathers, streaming upward, streaming outward. "Well, I know you, Hiawatha," cried he in a loud voice, in a tone of loud derision. "Hasten back, O Shogodaya, hasten back to the women, back to old Nokomis' faint heart. I will slay you as you stand there, as I slew her father." But my Hiawatha answered, nothing daunted, fearing nothing. "Big words do not smile like war clubs. Boastful breath is not a bowstring. Taunts are not as sharp as arrows. Deeds are better things than words are. Actions mightier than boastings." Then began the greatest battle that the sun had ever looked on, that the war birds ever witnessed. All a summer's day it lasted, from the sunrise to the sunset. For the shafts of Hiawatha, harmless, hit the shirt of wampum. Harmless fell the blows he dealt it. With his mittens Majikawan, harmless fell the heavy war club. It could dash the rocks asunder, but it could not break the meshes of that magic shirt of wampum. Till at sunset, Hiawatha, leaning on his bow of ash tree, wounded, weary and desponding, with his mighty war club broken, with his mittens torn and tattered, and 3 useless arrows only, paused to rest beneath the pine tree, from whose branches trailed the mosses, and whose trunk was coated over with the dead man's moccasin leather, with the fungus white and yellow. Suddenly, from the boughs above him, sang the mama, the woodpecker. Aim your arrows, Hiawatha, at the head of Messigsongwan. Strike the tuft of hair upon it, at their roots the long black tresses. There alone can he be wounded. Winged with feathers tipped with jasper, swift flew Hiawatha's arrow. Just as Megisongwan, stooping, raised a heavy stone to throw it, full upon the crown it struck him, and he reeled and staggered forward, plunging like a wounded bison. Yes, like Pes Hiki, the bison, when the snow is on the prairie. Swifter flew the second arrow in the pathway of the other, piercing deeper than the other, wounding sorer than the other. And the knees of Megisongwan shook like windy reeds beneath him, bent and trembled like the rushes. But the third and latest arrow swiftest flew and wounded sorest. And the mighty Megisongwan saw the fiery eyes of Pauguk, saw the eyes of death glare at him, heard his voice call in the darkness. At the feet of Hiawatha lifeless lay the great pearl feather, lay the mightiest of magicians. Then the grateful Hiawatha called the mama, the woodpecker, from his perch among the branches of the melancholy pine tree. And in honor of his service, stained with blood the tuft of feathers on the little head of mama. Even to this day he wears it, wears the tuft of crimson feathers as a symbol of his service. Then he stripped the shirt of wampum from the back of Megisongwan as a trophy of the battle, as a signal of his conquest. On the shore he left the body half in land and half in water. In the sand his feet were buried, and his face was in the water. And above him wheeled and clamoured the canoe, the great war eagle, sailing round in narrower circles, hovering nearer, nearer, nearer. From the wigwam Hiawatha bore the wealth of Megisongwan, all his wealth of skins and wampum, full of bison and of beaver, furs of sable and of ermine, wampum belts and strings of pouches, quivers wrought with beads of wampum, filled with arrows silver-headed. Homeward then he sailed exulting, homeward through the black pitch water, homeward through the weltering serpents, with the trophies of the battle, with a shout and song of triumph. On the shore stood old Nokomis, on the shore stood Chibiabos, and the very strong man Quasit, waiting for the hero's coming, listening for his songs of triumph. And the people of the village welcomed him with songs and dances, made a joyous feast, and shouted, "Honor be to Hiawatha! He has slain the great pearl feather, slain the mightiest of magicians, him who sent the fiery fever, sent the white fog from the fenlands, sent disease and death among us." Ever dear to Hiawatha was the memory of Mama, and in token of his friendship, as a mark of his remembrance, he adorned decked his pipe stem with crimson tuft of feathers, with the blood-red crest of Mama. But the wealth of Megisongwan, all the trophies of the battle, he divided with his people, shared it equally among them. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Oh, thank you.